Glitch Productions released the trailer for their latest show, Gameoverse, and I saw a bunch of comments all over the place about how Glitch specifically is just doing the same tone of show, where it's something family friendly that's contorted into some kind of meta nightmare thing. And I saw these comments, and I immediately and instinctively agreed. But then I started thinking more about it and Glitch specifically, because the trailer for Gameoverse is that we've got the kids spelling bee game that gets all messed up. The Amazing Little Circus is that, and that's kind of it. Because
Yeah,
Knights of Guinevere isn't that. The trailer is that, but the show itself isn't that. Murder Drones isn't that. The Gaslight District isn't that. And I
that's
realized,
my yeah, that's my immediate counterpoint. It's like
hmm,
Gaslight District is not
yeah.
that.
Yeah. It just seems to be like this common trope that's all over the place in other things. But
Yes.
when any single person does it, they're viewed as doing the same thing that they've been doing rather than just like different people doing the same thing, and people focus on that person and call them repetitive. Bendy, Poppy's Playtime, Five Nights at Freddy's, Indigo Park, they're all made by different people.
Yeah.
But why do you think this idea of a bright and colorful world having a sinister underbelly to it, why do you think that's become so popular over the last like 10 years?
Um, I think that it is. I think that the roots of it are pretty dark. I don't think that it's. I think it's a trend that is rooted very deeply in the loss of wonder in the world. Um, Potentially childhood trauma, because a lot of it is, childhood things that become traumatic, and it has become acceptable to discuss childhood trauma. And when it becomes acceptable to discuss something publicly, it becomes part of the zeitgeist. Um, and you combine that with nostalgia for a world that will not be coming back. Like, even outside of the mascot horror and, like, you know family friendly thing twisted into horrors beyond our imagination, even beyond that, there's things like the resurgence of Frutiger Arrow. That are you familiar with that aesthetic?
I've never heard that phrase in my life. What is it? Say it again.
Frutiger Arrow, look at this mouse. This
Okay.
like this type of aesthetic of, like, uh I'd say the best way to describe it is the Windows XP and Windows 7 look,
Okay.
where everything's kind of, aqua
Yeah.
and very, it's very futuristic, but it's also very incorporated with nature, and there's splashes of water and
Mhm.
bubbles, and just this 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 paragon of the future that just died. And all of Gen Z, we're just trying to figure out how to get a good world back.
Mhm.
How to get a good future ensured.
Mhm.
How do we make it so that it's not all just oversimplified, gray, and subscription based?
Mhm.
you know I think that I think that I think that the trend of, family friendly thing twisted into horror, when you think about it from that lens, makes a lot of sense, because it's no longer just this random trend. It's an expression of the public's, and especially the younger generations, uh, distaste for what has happened to those things. They've been erased, and replaced. We had these family friendly things that got erased and replaced with, you know just this horrifying model of reality. So I think that even if it's not conscious, it's at the very least an unconscious manifestation of our desires for something better, and an expression of this generation's frustration.
Mhm. One of the most intelligent conversations that I've had with one of my stupid friends was I asked him, why is it that recently a lot of people, a lot of stories are delving into like the 90's and the early 2000s? What was so interesting about that time? And why is it that people seem to think that the 90's was like the best decade, even pe people that weren't, you know, kids during that time, like I was? And he said, he immediately goes, because the 90's was the last decade of analog technology. And I was like, oh my God, because after that, everything, like we had, you know, cassettes. I mean, vinyls were a bit before my time, but you know, like physical stuff. And then after that, everything
Yeah,
became USBs and digital. So it's like everything had a bit of like it was harder to duplicate things. It was harder
yeah.
for things to be some kind of subscription based thing.
Mhm.
It was there. It was in your hands the whole time. So yeah, I
Yes.
guess yeah, people are trying to go back to a. I mean, I don't want to say simpler time. I wish I had more of a creative thing to say, but yeah, a time when you had something, it was yours.
Yeah, it was far more tangible.
Hmm.
All media was far more tangible. You want to own a movie? Great. You've got the box. You've got
Hmm.
the box. You got the disc or the VHS. You want to own music? You've got the CD. You got the CD or the cassette or the vinyl. You want to own a game? You've got the console, and you've got the actual cartridge, or the disc. And without that, it's like some of the soul of creation has just been sucked out.
Hmm.
um it's bland. I saw this tweet a while back that was uh somebody posted a picture of like this 90's or 2000s, like I think it was like a stereo system, just like a CD player system, um something like that. And then one of the quote tweets said, I miss buttons so fucking much, man. like
Hmm.
Like where do the buttons go? Like the smartphones even used to have buttons. Now it's all screen
Yep.
except for the power button. When are they going to phase that out? When is it just going to be a double tap to turn off the phone?
Hmm.
You know,
They they used to have jacks. Now it's just
just Bluetooth.
the charging thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I have lightning cord based headphones. I don't
Yeah.
like Bluetooth very much. I like the tangibility of a cord. I'm out walking with like out in the city or whatever, and I'm just the only one with cords hanging out of my ears. And yeah, I don't feel silly. I feel sensible.
Yeah.
It's the people with magnets next to their brain. They're the weird ones.
Well, I guess I'm weird then. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've got cords coming out of your head.
Yeah, no, I mean my listening headphones. So I got
Okay.
like Galaxy Buds, but
Mhm.
when I'm certainly when I'm making music, those are like the last thing that I test a mix on.
Mhm.
But no, I very much prefer things to be tangible. Like
Mhm.
I'm fed up with Nintendo, like with their whole. Are you familiar with what they're doing with the Switch 2, which is like game key cards? It's like, oh, you
Oh
open
yeah,
you
yeah,
open the
yeah,
package and
yeah.
then there's a downloadable key. It's like,
Mhm.
what's the fucking point of the package?
Yeah.
Like you give a package so that you have a physical product, but inside the package where the physical product is supposed to be, you've got a digital redeemable code.
Mhm.
Great, great. We're just we're just accelerating into having nothing.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
we're just it's just accelerationism to the max, and boom, we're gonna end up, you know, or have you seen Black Mirror?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like 15 million merits. Like we're gonna end up just in that, just on the exercise bike generating energy and going back to our rooms that are just screened. You have to
Yeah.
watch the ad. Like, is that
Mhm.
what we're going towards? All the buttons are gone, all the media's gone.
I just saw I think it was a tweet or just like some sort of news story where apparently all the people that were on Pokemon Go when they were, you know, recording the world around them, that was all
Oh
linked up to
no.
some sort of massive system, and now like the man or whatever, the system now has all this footage of just
Yeah.
every little nook and cranny all over the world. Of
Well,
course.
their developer Niantic was funded by it was either the FBI or the CIA, but they Niantic was funded by the U.S. government.
Mm,
So yeah,
okay. All right.
a lot of fun stuff there.
Let's try
let's
and
re yeah let's
yeah.
recenter
Let's
recenter.
try
We're
and
going
let,
getting way off track.
yeah, let's try and bring this down to something nice and nice and wholesome and not like the government wants to blow up the world or whatever. Okay.
Yes.
Namaste.